welcome to Miracle English Language and Literature Institute. This is Professor Abha Sharma, and these video series are dedicated on the discussion of literary theory. And today we are going to take up postcolonialism. What is postcolonialism? The literature written after the colonizing countries left the colonized. The countries which were ruling, the countries in Asia and Africa, when they left, when they granted freedom to those countries and went away to their own land, and the people of the colonized countries, they started writing in the same language, English. Why did they learn English and write in English? Or French? Why? Lord Macaulay in 1835, on 2nd of February, in British Parliament had said once that India is very rich in culture. Its heritage is too strong. Their moral beliefs are very staunch, and these people cannot be won unless and until we break this backbone. So he said that we should change the education system of India. We should make them feel that their language and their culture is lower to a foreign culture, to a foreign language like English. And if they learn English, they would rise above their own people. So he introduced, and these people, Britishers, changed the complete education system. And when the Britishers left the country, the people who were educated in the same manner started writing in English. They are all called as Indo-Anglian writers, Indians who are writing in English. Similarly, in Africa, people started writing in English. They were called as Afro-American or Afro-Britishers or whatever. So, there was a change in writing. The people who were purely of one country, one culture, one heritage and one language, they were introduced a different language, different culture. So what happened? There was a culture shock in the beginning. There was a language shock in the beginning. And then they expressed, their children, they were born in an environment which was having the intermixing of both the cultures and language, and that's called hybridization. The mixing of the two cultures took place, and a new sort of writing emerged, and the critics, they called it post-colonial writing, post-colonialism. It emerged in India, it emerged in Africa, and all other countries where the colonizing countries had stayed for more than a century or so. There have been many post-colonial critics like Edward W. Said, Mikhail Bakhtin, Homi Bhabha, Gayatri Spivak, Chinua Achebe, Walt Soyinka, Buchi Emecheta, Salman Rushdie, and many others. The first critic was Mikhail Bakhtin, who brought this hybrid notion through his work, The Dialogical Imagination, in 1981. He talked of heteroglossia. Heteroglossia means lots of glossary making one language. Different type of glossary words, combination of more than one language. You can see all the African countries which were ruled by the French people, they are very fluent in French. And during Harlem Renaissance and the apartheid, the people had come up. They had expressed their opposition against the oppression they were facing by the colonizing countries. The writers like Chinua Achebe and Walt Soyinka, They have faced trials and tribulations because they talked, they expressed about their own pains. Even Gandhiji suffered this oppression of color discrimination in South Africa. From there, he came to his own country and started the freedom struggle for India. So this was another post-colonial theorist and critic, Gayatri Spivak, has worked on the studies of feminism, Marxism. She even translated Derrida's De la Grammatologie in 1976 and even wrote a preface. She worked on the language of the post-colonial expression, and she did deconstruction on various texts. The famous critic and theorist Edward Said brought a revolution in the studies of post-colonial literature by his work Orientalism in 1978. And he talked about the difference between the Eastern countries and the Western countries. And he said that there is a lot of difference between the two cultures and all. But the Eastern countries are oriented towards the Western countries. They are trying to adopt the culture, the language, the style and everything. Edward Said demonstrates Michael Foucault's idea of ruling the country. And many others. Salman Rushdie's Imaginary Homelands is a diasporic text. What is diaspora? Diaspora means if a person who's born in his native country and brought up to a certain age and then he immigrates to a foreign land, to a foreign country, and there when he expresses sitting in his home in London, near the window, staring at the blank streets and imagining the streets of Mumbai. We have to live with this duality, this alterity, this otherness, this hybrid thing, the diasporic concept. Nothing can be done, anything now. The languages have changed, the cultures have changed, the traditions have changed, so the morals have changed. This is an irreversible reaction. This has done. And tomorrow, who knows, this duality may become identity. One culture. Again, let's finish our topic here. And in the next, we will be taking up feminism. Also explore the website www.miraclewebstore.com. Till then, take care. Thank you.